welcome back to my huge channel, everybody. Today I have an interesting topic for you, one I never had before. And yes, I'm here to destroy my fashion review knowledge image once and for all for this topic. And to be honest, I don't get it why everybody hates so much against it. I just feel like it's so funny to speak about star signs. And you know what? I never wanted to say it out loud, and I was always like the person that knew a bit too much about it, but I was always on parties like, no, I never read into it. I absolutely couldn't care less about star signs and their characteristics and everything. No, I don't care. I don't care. I'm way too cool for this. So I thought it would be funny, because I like to characterize people and categorize people even more, to speak about the star signs that you have. We have 12, I believe. And what I think the style of these star sign owners, male or female, even though there are differences, but like male or female would be, I think it's funny. I think it's damn serious. You need to take this very seriously. When I say this is the look, check out all these star sign people around you and check if I'm correct. Obviously not. Yes, as per usual, this is something to be taken very seriously. And as per usual, PSSS, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Support me on Patreon. You need to support me on Patreon, guys, so I can make more incredibly academic fashion knowledge videos like this. Join the Discord if you haven't done that yet. Amazing community. We are funny and cute and hilarious. What else do I have? Instagram. Exactly. Follow me there too. So we're starting with the star signs now, and you know there's a chronological order in how the world flows. Don't ask me why it's starting there. I know you guys know why it starts with Aries. So Aries are usually not super competitive, but also they are competitive. Like, they are full of high energy usually, like super active. The most active people I know in my life are Aries personas. So they're very active. They don't mind a competition. Like, are they like, hey, I need to win every competition I participate in? Probably, yeah, they like it. But when I think of the style, it's usually something way more subtle. You don't see so much the very overly ambitious and competitive vibe. It's usually very laid back style. And this is a style I really like because it's very like a bit subtle, interesting, always interesting. Like, there needs to be a little twist, something interesting. It needs to be a bit something special, but usually a bit more laid back when it comes to the style. So when I thought about it, I think of Löwe paired with New Balance. So it doesn't always have to be like high in luxury. It needs to be something good. It needs to be something special. It doesn't have to be full designer. But you know, it's more like the fashion is a bit more like a Jill Sander to Louis mix when it goes like to subtle to a bit more extreme and diverse things. The shoes are probably like sporty mauve. It's more like a New Balance. It's more a Clark's, you know. It's still following some trends, but not too much. Not a trend follower. Maybe the special shoes again are a bit more Jill Sander vibes. Something like this, you know. Like, I think it's an interesting style. I think it's a very uncomplicated style usually. I wouldn't say it's not thought through, but it's definitely something where you see fashion is not the only thing they have on their mind. Like, it's always interesting, but it's not like mega priority like we see in other star signs. So that's kind of Aries, and I think it's pretty cool. I think the style is pretty laid back, pretty chill, but oh my god, chill is a terrible word because they're absolutely not chill. They're like, oh my god, they're so good at completing stuff or like managing stuff, initiating stuff, having a lot of energy, and this really helps them in life. And that's why I think their style is also like an in-between of like some laid backness and some fashion vibes. Like, there needs to be some fashion, there needs to be a bit salt and pepper to keep it interesting, definitely. Coming to one of the most interesting ones probably when it comes to fashion, which is Taurus. You all know Taurus people around you, and I think they kind of have a bad reputation. To be very honest, it's their own fault. Like, let's not be too kind to Taurus girls and boys. Like, no, I'm kidding. But also I'm kind of not kidding because I never felt, I think, so often validated when I was hearing someone's star sign, in positive and negative, like both of it. And even the men, it's funny. Like, I think Taurus men are a bit less extreme than the women, but it's still extreme. So I learned also a lot of stuff from Taurus. Honestly, Taurus is a pretty cool sign, not to underestimate. And I think like a lot of very successful people are also Taurus signs. And one thing I learned from Taurus is focus on yourself, and you and yourself only are the priority. Like not the only, but the main priority. I always struggled in my life to prioritize myself only first, or like to only go for myself. And Taurus people are very much like aware of everything surrounding them. I wouldn't say they're tactical, but it's like they're very aware of opportunities and chances, not in a bad way, in a smart way, you know? And they really know where to put energy. That's what I mean, you know? Like I, for example, sometimes do not really question everything that I do, and I put too much energy into something that is not worth it, or I don't crave every opportunity I have visibly in front of me. And Tauruses are very smart concerning that. And they only want the best for themselves. Like they cannot handle to not have the best for themselves. If there's something amazing on the market, they cannot go lower than when they know the quality, there is better quality somewhere, because they are very convinced that they deserve the very best. And which is, I think, I mean, of course you need to be humble, and it doesn't sound like I'm speaking of the most humble personality right now, but I think it is really important to just be aware you as a persona exist as well, and you should prioritize yourself. You don't have to crave like for the biggest, most expensive stuff everywhere, but it's like in terms of quality, like yeah, your goal should be that you deserve the very best. So this is something I learned from Tauruses. And when it comes to their fashion stance, I feel like they're very self-conscious. I feel they're more interested in brands that are focusing more like on the individual and on the energy you create in the room, a bit like Alaya. I feel like it needs to be something artistic, but still something breathtaking usually, and something where everybody's influenced by, and you really feel somebody is coming into a room and filling up the room, not only with their energy, but also with their look. So it needs to be very sharp and very, and when I say very sharp, I don't mean like because Alaya is usually tending to be a bit more sexy or like or more on the feminine side. I also mean like in terms of if it's eclectic, they also like to have very eclectic looks. Like it's usually very exaggerated, but in a good way. I haven't seen a lot of Tauruses in bad style, to be honest. It's usually very interesting style, and they're very good at combining stuff with each other. That's amazing, to be honest. And their talent for like quality and stuff, that's really amazing. And this all combined together, they're a bit obsessed with certain things, and when they want to have something, they can go nuts to have this, which might appear maybe a bit toxic sometimes. But honestly, I mean, every star sign has their pros and cons. So I feel like it's a lot of Alaya, it's a lot of like old Gucci vibes, but also, you know, they can also pull off some Yohji Yamamoto, like old suits, but then usually still like not only Yohji, you know, it always needs to have their personal signature. So maybe some Undermilmisa and Rick even as well. But always like special pieces. They would never be like a Rick boy, a Rick girl, head to toe. They always take whatever they like and please and where they can find themselves in, and then combine it together. But usually it's edgy brands. It's brands that really have a strong edge and a strong statement. That's what they love, because they also appear like a very strong statement. Geminis also like one of my favorites, happy kids. Like Geminis are happy kids, and yeah, of course we have this misconception of them being like bipolar and stuff, which is kind of true. Yeah, it's true that they're like very quickly hyped, but can go very low as well. But I've never experienced like this in a very disturbing way, and I think we are all kind of bipolar nowadays. I feel like we're all like easily hyped, and then everybody's in depressed mode and doesn't want to get out of bed. I don't know. I think what's even worse is that the Gemini suffers alone with this. Like usually we don't see the dark side of it, or like the depressive side. So we always see the smiling face, and then they turn around and it's a clown. It's the clown a bit. I love them because we share the same sarcastic and ironic humor usually, so I get along very well with Geminis. They can be a bit mean as well, but I usually enjoy it when it's meant in a funny way. I think they're the only people that can still rock Converse because they're chill people. But that doesn't mean they don't have style. So they're very chill, Geminis, they're very relaxed, and it is important to them that they have a form of relaxation and freedom. They're also very free minds. You cannot easily force them to do something. They can be very stubborn, but they're very, yeah, they have very much their own mind. And I think you see that a bit in their style because it's really a mix. I think priority is usually that it's like comfortable, but it needs to be fashionable. But still priority is usually comfort. So if they have a pair of jeans that they like to wear jeans only, I don't know, shirts, or like they like wool pants also. They like also finer pants, but maybe it has an elastic band. So it's always something sporty usually in the look as well. Or when it comes to jackets, it's more like nylonish jackets, a bit more sporty jackets, probably not the chic, super chic wool blazer that you like, even like from the thrift stores. That's not really their vibe. I would say it's also not like this thrift store vibe. It's not the clean look, but they prefer to be like well dressed still. So it's important what they shop. They experiment way more. So if it's like a cute summer dress, it will definitely be sneakers underneath and not like single strap heel shoes, sandalettes that make it look even cuter. They always break the look with something. So it's never, and if it's like very classy on the shoes, it's like joggers on top of it. And they're good at it. They're really good at keeping this balance in their looks and making it interesting, in my opinion. And I always figure that Geminis are really good to make laid-back stuff look cool, because for example, that's really a disadvantage for me because I'm really not good at casual styling. I used to think like, yeah, it's maybe because of my body type or the aesthetics that I have and something. No, but I think it's really a thing of personality also. I think my personality doesn't carry it, and that's why I feel stupid in too laid back stuff, or I feel like that's not me. But they wear it with such a confidence always. I really love it. Like, it's so chill and laid back, but it still looks good and not like, I don't like the fucked up shoes and too dirty stuff, and I don't like too much distressed stuff as well. And they manage that really well. So yeah, I think they manage pretty well to take something out of a very mainstream context and turn it into something more personal. I think Geminis are cool with that. And when I need to think of brands, I think like of Marni, of some Eckhaus Latta. You know, and when it goes super extreme, maybe like Chopova Lovena. That's pretty extreme for Geminis because they don't like to scream too loud usually with their clothes. But like, I think like a contemporary fashion style that is still like very street style without going too much into fashion, but still like some personality. Or like the sporty versions of Undercover or like Korean brands. I think that's also something that can go into that direction. Cancer. Yeah, Cancer. Water sign. Yeah, there are some issues with Cancers, and I don't know why I started super negatively with Cancer now. No, but as you know, water signs are usually very emotional, like they sense everything and are very hypersensitive. And Cancer is also like very dreamy, very visionary, and also likes to give comfort to other people, like is very caring. I think it's the most caring star sign, and you really feel it. And they have so many interests. Usually there are people that are very smart, have a lot of hobbies, are very interested in a lot of things, are also very knowledgeable. So I feel like you can learn a lot from Cancers. And I think that's also a bit reflected in their style. I don't say that they are lost, absolutely not. I think more like they have a lot of things that they like. Like if Geminis are good at combining, Cancers don't necessarily combine it, but they have a lot of different aesthetics, like their hobbies as well. You know, I think they like a very subtle, minimal look, usually elegant, I would say. So also like quality focused, a good pair of pants, a good wool sweater, a good coat is important. The shoes need to be still casual friendly, maybe not the highest heels, and the shoes for men, probably more leather sneakers than too sporty sneakers. Like that's one kind of aesthetic, but they actually really like fashionable things as well, but they don't prioritize themselves so much to always put that so much up front. But if they manage to do that, depending on your moon and rising sometimes as well, of course, I mean, usually, if they are in this constellation of being able to be a bit more self-centered, they're super creative and very visionary, and they can create also like beautiful things. It's very like, to me, it's also like a lot of drees, what works well. very artistic. Like even if it's feminine or like very classical, it's usually something very artistic. It's a bit like Gabriela Hearst, Jill Zander, also some, but then also Bottega shoes, like the eclectic kind, and then some Dries. Everything seems like very natural and flowy, and everything makes a lot of sense, because they're also people that think about a lot of things and think everything through. And sometimes the looks can be chaotic. That's what I meant at the beginning, because they have so many thoughts about everything. But sometimes they're also just amazing at what they do. And I feel like Cancers have this, they're quiet all the time and then they just bangers, like it's amazing what comes out. And that's very typical of Cancers in my opinion. Like if they do something, if they finish something from all the stuff that they have on their table, because they love to do everything, if they finish something, it's usually so thought through and amazing. It's beautiful. They're not so much maybe storytelling only focused, but they appreciate more like craftsmanship and quality, and that's why I also mentioned some brands that stand more like for quality and stuff. For example, the Taurus cares a lot about the image of a brand, whereas the Cancer cares more about like how the piece is constructed, for example. Coming to the next star sign, which is Leo, a fire sign. And I think another sign that kind of suffers a bit from its image. I think also because we know the animal lion so well. That's also something we like reflect on the people. That's not so much the case. Like, yes, it's true, like they're good leaders, they can prefer being in the spotlight a bit. But honestly, that's not necessarily a bad trait. And sometimes I wish I had that a bit more. I think they are very positive people, what I figured. Like, I always feel like that they always look on the positive side of everything. I'm the one that always sees the glass half empty. And that's kind of like self-protection. But it's like super stupid also, because this has never in my life ever helped me, I feel, to see it like this. I'm more like the opposite. But I feel like Leos know exactly what they want. Like they're very stubborn in knowing what they want. Yes, it's true, they enjoy to be in a leading role. They enjoy to be like in the spotlight for something. They like to be celebrated, maybe more than some other signs. That's also true. But I think also what we shouldn't forget is that they are also very helpful people, and they like to have you on their team if you're also leading to that goal. People say they cannot handle competition. Honestly, I have no idea. I always feel like Leos are not competitive because they're so convinced of themselves usually. And I think usually in terms of their style, I feel like because they're so self-confident, they do not care so much about their style like other signs do. I don't know, I feel like they don't put so much thought in it. It doesn't have to be like the most expensive designer wear, which makes absolute sense. It needs to be something that kind of makes them look good. They like to show themselves from their best side, which is absolutely fine. I just feel like fashion is not the biggest priority when it comes to Leos. It needs to be neat, and it's important what it reflects. So it cannot be something like too distressed, too destroyed, too vintage. This would never be the case. It needs to be like, it always needs to have some sort of polishedness, I would say, but not like in a extreme way. But still, like, it needs to fit into certain norms, but it's not even that important what it really means, because they're very confident and they know they can rock anything that they wear. It's just supporting kind of their personality. It could also be something like Jacquemus, you know, like something a bit summery when it's summer, and it doesn't have to go extreme. It looks cute, it looks nice, and they take it, you know. So we don't have to go into the alayas and stuff. It's like, hey, yeah, that's enough for me. That does the job. But yeah, there might be different Leos. Show me your pics if you feel brutally disrespected by me right now as a Leo. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking? I would never dress in a sporty way. I always look chic, head to toe, and that's important to me. Send me your photos. I want proof. I want proof because I haven't seen a Leo yet that does care more about their clothes than about themselves. And what comes after the Leo? One of my favorite signs. Honestly, one of my favorite signs. You little psychopaths. You are little psychopaths that are very sympathetic. Virgos, honestly, what's wrong with you? What is wrong with you? And I know my best friends, I have many Virgos around me. I don't know, I think because I'm a water sign, I like earth signs a lot. So Virgos are, as you might know, like control freaks. They are perfectionists. They are very authority pleasing. That's a bit of a disadvantage. They really like to do everything correct, which also leads to the fact that they never really dare to do something they had on their mind a bit too streamlined sometimes, the thought process, and usually very smart because they love learning, because they need to learn to be successful, and they know that. You know, they're like Virgos are a bit like what humans should actually work like. It's like, hey, I have this goal, which is having amazing grades in uni, so I will have to learn for it. So I'm gonna learn for it. So I reach this goal, and then Virgos just do that. And every other sign is just like, yeah, I would like to do this, but also I don't know yet, and maybe my goal is just influenced by my parents' dreams, and maybe I actually want to do something else. And also, if I don't live my life now in the moment, when am I gonna? And then you dead. That doesn't happen to Virgos, because they just like fix one goal, and then they're like, yeah, that's where I'm gonna go. I'm gonna reach this. Easy peasy. They reach it very easy peasy usually. They're very good at fixing goals. And usually when it comes to their style, again, they're not only concerned about fashion topics usually, but they're very much concerned about how good a look is. It's important. So since everything needs to be good and of high quality, and because they're very much perfectionists, when it comes to completing stuff, it's also completing the personal style. It's not a huge personal style topic, I would say. It's more like I wouldn't say they don't question themselves, but they're very much like external goal driven. So it needs to be very streamlined, needs highest quality, good quality, never something bad. They also never have a bad look. I never saw a Virgo in a bad look. And if the constellation is so that there is some creativity inside, it's amazing. So that's really something I experienced. If a Virgo or double Virgo, and I don't know, the rising is something else, Cancer or something, they can really be something amazing, because then the creativity is pushed just like the other goals, and then it turns into something amazing. Because usually something that a lot of creative people struggle with is the insecurity, the self-questioning on the way, and they just don't question. Like Virgos are very streamlined on their thoughts, and they're very convinced as well of their thoughts. Like if they believe in something, they believe in it. So the brands can again be like some Prada cardigan, but also like Max Mara wool pants, you know, maybe some Acne pieces as well. It doesn't have to be like super high fashion. They usually don't care so much about like high creative fashion. So also like some Acne pieces, some basics or whatever that do the job. Maybe like an Acne coat and then some sneakers underneath. And when it's a bit more fashion, you have maybe a bit more Prada in it. You have maybe a bit less Acne in it. It's also, when it comes to a fashion sense, going a bit more, less in a super eclectic way, but more like in an edgy, formal, and elegant way. It wouldn't be too eclectic. It's definitely not Marnie. You know, it's not the Marnie craziness. They're too focused for all these colors and everything. They would not want them to be distracted. Libra. Sometimes I wish I was a Libra. Yeah, super chill. Don't care about anything. Not caring, but just like really in balance with everything, and very easy to not get stressed by things that would stress other people, and also very easy to like get yourself out of a situation that you do not want to be in. And not the loudest person in speaking, doesn't have to be in the spotlight at all, wants to enjoy life a lot. And I think, I don't know, I always see this Le Maire style in it. It's never really screaming. It's a beautiful style. It's a bit ethereal as well, and I think that fits really well. They care about quality, about good image as well, but it needs to be something comfortable and a bit classical. So they also like a bit of a classic look, maybe some pleated pants, a good like button-up shirt that is but very oversized and loose, and then like some leather loafers, and then like a nylonish waxed coat or something, and everything like in earth tones. They don't like stressed stuff, so they also don't like stressed fashion. It needs to look very natural. It needs to look very authentic. And honestly, this is something I really appreciate. I really like that, and it never looks fake. So Libra would never be a person that is like, I'm here, Charlie XCX video clip, look at me from the back, look at me from the front. Like, this is absolutely not them. And this is also amazing, you know, because they're good. They have a very good creative eye as well. A bit lazy, but we all are lazy, but Libra is also a bit lazy, but also like chilled and really has also an eye for aesthetics. That's definitely the case. So I think like a good mix of good tailoring in a very laid back way, like neither too sartorial or like too eclectic fashion-y. It just needs to be like contemporary tailoring in a laid back way, thin fabrics, breezy fabrics, nothing too extreme. Like this is something a Libra really loves. And it can of course change into every direction, but that's the vibe. I really like this vibe. Scorpio, you little problem child. You little problematic child. You appear like you're super cute and you don't care about anything. You care about everything. Scorpios care about everything. They will not let you know about this. You will know it because they ghosted you forever and they want you to die. Very emotional. I mean, it's a water sign and they're the most emotional, like the most revengeful water sign, I believe. I haven't experienced that, but that's also what they say. So I'm always saying this whenever somebody says to me that they're a Scorpio. They can be very creative too. I feel like they're not as daring as the other signs like Pisces and Cancer. A bit more restricted, a bit more concerned about image and appearance, not like visual appearance, but like image appearance. But since it's still a water sign, they do like some extravaganza. So I feel like it's a bit more, it's not like as extreme like as Taurus, but it's more like, if it's not Alaya, it's more like Jean-Paul Gaultier. It's a bit more like Galliano, maybe more like White Project. It's a bit more joyful and a bit more funny and less serious than the Taurus likes it. So I think like a Jean-Paul Gaultier shirt and then maybe a White Project mini skirt and then still like super high boots. This could be very Scorpio. Like it's very sharp and on point still, but it's very personal. Like that's very important that it stays personal. If you don't like their look and if you tell that to them, you will never hear a word again of this person. Yeah, they can be loyal if they like you. It's still like a very creative aesthetic, but they don't dare so much as they could. Sagittarius is a super cute sign, super cute, likes to explore, both feet on the ground though, you know, like they can't handle responsibility. Very joyful. Usually people that have a very big and positive spirit, like people are immediately infected by their positivity and it's amazing. And they're really interesting characters, very positive characters. I really enjoy the atmosphere with Sagittariuses. That's really amazing. And they dare a bit, they're very comfortable with themselves. They can wear some comme des garçons, you know, they would wear some Magella pieces, but also like some White Projectness. It can be very like edgy and eclectic, but it's not so serious usually. So it's a very positive sign in my opinion. So even though we think we associate with comme des garçons sometimes like with too much like dark edginess, seriousness that has like some sort of pain as its base usually, that's not the way a Sagittarius would wear it. You know, these Marnie-esque comme des garçons looks, it's more like that. They really know how to dress as well. It's not the main priority that everything fits well. It's not the main priority that it's a look. It's more like it just needs to reflect the positivity, and it's usually something that is in movement, you know, because they themselves love to be in movement. They themselves love to travel. And usually it can be also like very last fashiony. It's not the biggest priority that it's fashion, but more like that it's fun. And this is something I really love because I love it if a person can detach themselves from the fashion idea and just focus on the personal fashion view, which is like, do whatever you like and it will look good. That's kind of Sagittarius. Like they wear the Magella without the, wow, we're so avant-garde Magella vibes. Capricorns, two more, Capricorns and then Pisces. Capricorns, wow, you manage a lot of stuff. You are very focused. I love it. Very goal-driven as well. Not so much to like, a bit like Virgos, like it's not to be shining and stuff. It's so funny how everybody is different. Like the Leo likes to shine as well, but it's important, everybody knows. And Capricorns and Virgos are very quiet. It's more like for their personal achievement. It's just very important for them to achieve stuff. I would say Capricorn is a bit less authority pleasing. It's more like, okay, I need to do this. I don't care about you. I hate you actually, but I'm going to do this for myself. And afterwards, I will focus on myself. They're very, they're more self-improvement driven than like external improvement driven, like Virgos are. and they're more easily creative as well. So they don't need a huge rising sign or whatever to be very creative. They have it in themselves as well. They're a bit more restricting themselves in comparison to the other signs. They do not let themselves be very creative. So usually they need some support, either from a friend or they have it already in their constellation, because if they are creative, it's also, again, very amazing because they're like super focused. And creativity is just another muscle that you need to use continuously to be able to be successful. Like, you need to train it. You cannot just be creative once a week and then just expect an amazing result. So when a Capricorn is doing something, they're doing it, but a bit more in a joyful way. They can enjoy life a bit more. It doesn't have to be the biggest luxury. They're not huge luxury fans. And it has actually almost usually not a big importance. And they don't like to spend too much money also on stuff. So it's usually something sporty, but also like well-dressed. Depends on the personality, but it's more like contemporary, usual brands that you can also get like in normal stores down the street. It's really important that they just feel like it suits them, it looks pleasing, but it doesn't have to like revolutionize the fashion world at all. They're usually well dressed. It's always a look, but it doesn't have to be designer at all. That's really not what they crave for. They have usually like a bit more deeper interests than maybe a visual interest. So it can really be something like from Ralph Lauren, like the good quality Ralph Lauren, to the good Adidas and Nike. And I'm not just like mentioning now the least luxury brands. I just mean like they really care about quality, and if it's good quality, it's fine. Like it's Carhartt, it can be any other sports brand, but it can also be like, if it's men's, usually needs to be like good quality items as well. And if there is some fashion creativity sign somewhere, it can also go very much up. You know, it can go very much into the extremes, but it's usually not as extreme, as relentless as the other signs would be. It's always like under certain circumstances, they would purchase something extremely expensive, for example. They always see it like very much related. How much do I need this? Is this necessary? Like, this will not change my life, which is smart. Capricorns are very smart anyway. Coming to the last sign, which is also my personal sign, so I'm a bit, of course, biased here. Pisces. Yeah, the water sign. They don't cry as much as people think. We don't cry all the time. Just a bit. Yeah, they say, because now I feel like I don't want to praise myself, but actually there's also not a lot to praise about Pisces. I think it's a very struggling sign because they have a lot of creativity inside of them, but they also have like a lot of self-doubt inside of them. And that's like always this come and go. But usually if you let them, they want to dream all day. And dreaming sometimes can also lead to being visionary and sometimes lead to going into psychiatry. So that's really what Pisces is like. I mean, sometimes I feel like that's what people think a Gemini is, but a Pisces is like very much on the edge always. And I don't mean that in a serious, dangerous way, but it's really very often being on the edge of something. So either they do something, so if they manage to create something, it's turning into something majestic, or it's really turning into something self-disruptive. Because everything is so emotionally loaded, if everything is of importance, like even the piece of bread you have on your table, it's really hard to live like that. It's really hard to live if you value everything within energy. So, I mean, there are people that are very sensitive, so everything has an energy. So they turn into judgmental people because they feel like they sense it. And sometimes it's their gut feeling, sometimes it's just being fucking stupid. But yeah, running around the world as a hypersensitive Pisces is not the easiest. And I think their style is kind of also reflecting that. I think it's pretty eclectic. It's usually like a clash of different personality traits that they have. It's usually a high-low mix. Quality is not the most important thing. Not me having said that in my last video about myself. It's really about the energy that the pieces give. It's really what the Pisces wants to show of their personality. And I mean, just, yeah, as an example of myself, I really like to reflect every day my emotions, like how I feel towards the day. That will be my look. It's never like I want to be this person, so I'm dressing like this every day. I'm adapting every day. And even that is sometimes a struggle because I feel like I'm in constant change because my mind is always changing. So that can be a bit confusing. But usually, since everything is important around them, and everything affects them, fashion also affects them a lot. So a lot of people in fashion are also Pisces. A lot of Pisces and Virgos, actually. So yeah, fashion has a big importance. So they really care about storytelling because they're so emotional, and it's very important for them that everything has like some sort of reasoning, and nothing can just be bland and rough and raw. And there's nothing they hate more than a white wall. Anyway, but Pisces usually try to wear a lot of eclectic things. So you see a lot of like extreme dress things, but then like, I don't know, cargo pants, and then like, again, very chic shoes. So you really have this ambivalence also of their personality reflected. And it can be like very easily flowy. It can be something very rough and strong. It really depends on the moment that they have. So that was it. All the signs I mentioned here. I don't know if this helped or anything, but I just found it funny. And I always wanted to do a video like this. Honestly, I always wanted to do a video like this. But everybody I told this about was like, nobody will take you seriously anymore. It's low-key embarrassing. And you know what? I don't care. I'm never embarrassed. I'm not embarrassed, and I don't think it's embarrassing to talk about star signs, but apparently that's the 80% reason why people buy magazines. Don't lie. Don't forget to join the Patreon, guys. I'm being serious. Super serious. Like, as serious as a Pisces can get. The Discord, where we are a 2,000 people family. And my YouTube channel here. Don't forget. You forget about everything. Don't forget this.